But again, you don't get this kind of car trying to get performance out of it. (2024) Volkswagen Tiguan R-Line. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the vehicle we're going to be test driving and trying to get a brief impression today. And some quick specs about this one. This is going to be powered by a 2-liter inline 4 with an 8-speed automatic transmission, and the power output is going to be 184 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque with all-wheel drive. This is what the key looks like for the 2024 Volkswagen. Nothing has changed, to be honest. It's the exact same key as every other previous generation, but that's not what this video is about. Let's do a quick walk around and turn this off. So again, looking at this car real quick, you can tell that this thing looks sharp, it looks fancy. The headlights make it look really exquisite and even more aggressive. Lots of chrome. I wish it had the stealth package. Well, I wish I had the stealth package, but this one is not bad at all. Like some R-Line badging, some really decently chunky sized rims, and again 4x4. Doesn't seem like the tailgate works if the car is on, but it is supposed to be automatic with a backup camera. Having a little tent back here, very nice in case you have some things to hide back here. And your spare tire is all the way down here. Very simple. It's like a simple car, but it's think of the RAV4 but better without the reliability. There we go. Hopping inside, we see perforated leather seats all around. You get your little cup holders over here, and padded leather. I thought I would see some wood trim because the front does have wood trim, but it's like padded leather, some plastic, and aluminum door handles. Like simple stuff. Coolest part about in the back seat though is that even though they have Type-C USB ports, you also have heated seats in the back, while the front has heated and ventilated. And as you guys can see, we have some roof rails, and if we hop inside, I know, we have a giant panoramic sunroof, which is really neat. Turn that off. We have a good 6 inches of screen with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Responds very well. Like, not bad. It's really quick and at responding. That's good. We have a gear shift selector. Our mode selector, we have driving mode for off-road, highway, and then we can put it in sport because that's the mode we're always going to be in. And as you can see, it changes up a little bit, making it look a little bit more sporty, changing my dials over here, making it look a little bit sporty. But one thing I really don't like is how they revamped these buttons down here. It's weird trying to get used to it because there's no actual feedback when you press a button. Like if I press on my heated seats, there's no feedback. I have to look down to see that, oh, it's on now because it's now working. But there's no feedback, there's no vibration. The only ones that do have vibrations are the ones that are on the steering wheel, and even those take some time to get used to. So I don't know why they'll make it like this, but it's Volkswagen. They're gonna do Volkswagen things. And of course we have adaptive cruise control and a fully digital gauge cluster. Well, let's take this thing out for a drive and I'll give you my honest thoughts and impressions. And oh yeah, we do have an astounding sound system called Fender over here. And the wood trim I was telling you guys about. It's not really wood, I don't think it is, but it looks nice. We're gonna do a light little acceleration. Yeah, not the quickest thing off the line. But again, you don't get this kind of car trying to get performance out of it. You get it because it's affordable, it's reliable enough, and it's very stable. Again, let's compare it to a RAV4 because this is the closest competitor I can think of for the RAV4 and things I've driven in the past few days. So the RAV4 is of course going to be arguably more reliable, more simple. This one feels quicker, it feels more powerful, even though they have very similar horsepower numbers. That low end torque that this one has that the RAV4 just simply lacks makes a huge night and day difference, and I like it. Another big thing about this one is that just how stable it is. Every day I feel like Volkswagen is getting closer and closer to Audi, and again, Volkswagen is the parent company of Audi, so it makes sense, but now my expectations for Audi are just gonna continue going up because Volkswagen is just closing that line. Every time. So every time I get into a Volkswagen like this, it's called the R line, like the race line. It feels like I'm having a baby Audi, just with Volkswagen rebadging. And to be fair, it kind of is just a little bit. But if you talk about the handling and the suspension of this thing is stable, it's confident, it doesn't care, it's nimble. And if you want to be a regular civilian and not be driving like me, you can put this thing in eco mode, and all of a sudden everything quietens down just a little bit, just enough. But the thing is, I mostly have nothing but praises for this car. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we're gonna do a quick 0 to 60, a proper one. Felt like that took a hot minute. Could it have been quicker? Probably. But it felt long. It just felt long. And the shifts, they are kind of aggressive actually, especially when you're shifting from first gear going into second. The car tries to be so performance oriented. It feels like they stole the transmission from a BMW, even though I know it is its own transmission. I'm not saying that Volkswagen is doing anything sketchy, of course not. But if their transmission feels snappy like that. The only thing I don't like is that I don't really have paddle shifters to make shifting a little bit easier and quicker. Do I have a manual gearbox selected? Of course I do. But it just doesn't feel as engaging. Because surprisingly, one of the least sportiest cars I've ever driven, the Mitsubishi Eclipse, has paddle shifters on the actual column, which doesn't make sense in a Mitsubishi, but I would expect something like that in a Volkswagen like this. Is it practical? Would everyone ever use it? Probably not. It's an economic family SUV where you haul kids, haul some groceries. This is not the car to have if you want to have some sporty fun every once in a while. Can it be sporty? Of course, but the car is not built for that at all. It's just meant as a city dweller, essentially. As most family SUVs are. Yeah, it's not meant for that. But again, another thing I really do like is our lane keep assist, our blind spot monitoring, and our adaptive cruise control, which we will quickly try out. And we will set to 85. Our lane keep assist is active. As you can see what I've toggled on and off. Our cruise control, side assist, rear traffic alert, our front assist. Like, you can see the amount of technology they've packed into this car. Is it excessive? In my opinion, no, it's really not. It doesn't feel overbearing to the point where I'm like, you know what, maybe they went a little bit overboard with the technology. It's not like that Ford Edge where they have a gigantic screen where you can play video games. That feels excessive. This one feels classy and simple. And if you look down here, you can see we also have a parking, just to give you a 360 of the car. And if you want to find parking, it will park itself, but we're not going to try that out. And the rest over here are our two poverty buttons, because even though it is the R line, we didn't spec it out to the most of what we can possibly get. Again, there's going to be the higher line and the higher trim levels in this, but this is like a good mid-range for most people, because they don't need all the fancy smancy stuff. This is simple enough, this is efficient enough, and there's not really much you're lacking from. You have your heated seats, heated steering wheel, ventilated seats, you have a backup camera, the car tries to park itself, you have sensors going all around. It's just a huge plus. And again, since it's all-wheel drive, part of me wants to say it's going to be similar to the Quattro. It's not going to be as efficient and as perfect as the Quattro system, but again, Volkswagen owns Audi, so I have a lot of trust in the all-wheel drive system this car has. And since we're just going to be cruising, it's almost hands-free. I want to see if the car corrects itself if it's going out of the lane. It warns you, but it won't actively yank the car all the way to correct you, which is not bad. And we'll see how well our braking is. I'm not gonna try and figure that out, since looks like we're just gonna keep going. But anyway guys, this has been Morty in the 2024 Volkswagen Tiguan R line. Take care guys, enjoy your life, and peace.